This is after the flag, and that was extraordinary. An Indonesian Grand Prix that we're not going to forget for quite some time. Suddaby and Simon Crafar here to cover off all the big talking points. We'll do our best because there were a lot of them in this Indonesian Grand Prix. Won from 13th on the grid by the reigning world champion Pecco Bagnaia as Jorge Martin blows the World Championship lead, you have to say today, crashing out of a 3-second lead. Just goes to show, Simon, in MotoGP, no matter how predictable you think it is, there is always a sting in the tail.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying for the last 2 weeks, you know, and at the beginning of the season when Pecco looked so dominant, and it's never going to change right until the end, until, you know, you can't, there's not enough points, you know, left to do. It's always going to happen, meaning they're all riding completely on the edge. And it's so easy to make a mistake, and we saw it again today. And I've been saying it's all Pecco has to do is wait, do the best job he can, and hope it turns around, or Martin can make a mistake. Sorry, I'm not putting it well. There's so many ideas in my head from that crazy race today. So many. Look, I've got to say, Bagnaia did the ride of his life. I think that was wonderful. But he also showed that today there was a lot. It was like a chessboard, trying to choose the right tyres, trying to use them the right way, and it was not easy, as you saw, because so many people went down. You know, everyone's talking about the tyre on the rear being, but I think the whole race was about the tyre on the front, and it wasn't just which tyre you chose, it's how you used it, where I think Jorge went wrong, and also how close you followed. If you followed for too many laps, then the temperature, it was wild, so difficult to get right. But I've got to say, the man who got it right chose the hard front and rode like the world champion he is. He's back.
Jorge Martin made an incredible start, as you're seeing here on your screens, from 6th to 1st before they even arrived at the braking zone for turn 1. He was clearly still pushing on when he crashed. He was lapping in the low 131s with a 3-second lead. What are the lessons that Jorge Martin will take from that?
Like I said, it was a bit of a chess game, and and Jorge, having less experience, I think he rode brilliant all weekend. I know he rode brilliant all weekend. I'm waiting to hear his debrief, but I feel that he pushed that front tyre beyond where it could go for the full distance. I know that you have to take care of them over that full distance in this temperature, and I don't think he did, and I think that's where it went wrong, because he had the pace, and it looked to me that he damaged that front tyre, doing the pace he could, you know, and he's going to learn from that. Maybe it was either don't push it so hard or go the harder front like Pecco did, and I do feel sorry for Jorge, but this is the sport. It changes every week because they are all riding completely on the limit.
We'll do our best to, as I say, cover off all the big talking points through the race, because there were so many right the way through the order, including some of the riders who didn't make the finish in the end. But Pecco Bagnaia with the victory here today from 13th on the grid. First of all, before we come on to the end of the race, how much did Pecco Bagnaia learn the lessons from yesterday? He said that after the sprint yesterday, I need to be more aggressive tomorrow, and he gained 7 places on that first lap. Yeah,
on the start, you're right, but I think over the race, he wasn't that aggressive. He was really calculating, using all his experience, the experience he's got over his main adversary at the moment. And he pulled it off amazing. I think once he made those initial places up, he settled in and just made sure he didn't make any mistakes, because he's made them before, and brought it home. What a job.
Well, so many world-class performances today, and we should start with this guy, Fabio Quartararo. Who knows, if he got past Maverick Vinales quickly, he could well have won that Grand Prix today. He finished in 3rd, and he's with Matt Burt.
Yeah, it was a world-class performance from a former world champion who shows incredible speed, incredible pace. Fabio, that was a real hard 27-lap race, but just like you did in India a few weeks ago in some very hot conditions, you fight your way through the podium. You must be super happy with that job today.
Yeah, super happy, to be honest. Was great. I mean, the key point of my race for me was the warm-up lap where I really tried to make the rear spin a lot. And yeah, it was a positive race. I showed my speed. Unfortunately, it's not, you know you can fight for the podium, you always want more. And we know weak points, but every time we can make a podium, it's great to do it.
We've talked about your weak points a lot. We know that when you're on your own, you can run a pace that's as good as anybody else in MotoGP, but we saw you once you got close to Maverick Vinales, it was just almost impossible for you to make a clean pass or even to show him your front wheel. Did today show us again the problems that the Yamaha has?
Yeah, but you know, it's many years that is the same problem. We have to improve. But at least I showed to myself my speed. I know that I can be much better than third. And yeah, so we have to keep going.
Did you think coming late on, you were right with Maverick, you were closing in on Pecco as well? Did you think there was going to be a chance of something better than third?
You know, he was on the limit, I was on the limit, and we had to, you know, even Maverick was on the limit, and we finished quite close to Pecco, so it was really, really nice to at least finish third, but not from, like in India, 10 seconds from Bezzecchi. So was good for us to be really close from the first position. In
that heat, Fabio, we knew the tyres were going to be very, very critical. You actually did run the soft front tyre, which Jorge Martin ran as well, and we saw Jorge crash out with a 3-second lead. Was it critical, the front? Were you having a few moments yourself?
I had a few moments, but was the best tyre for us. Of course, was missing a little bit of support, but you know, for me, it was great to run this tyre for the race.
And next weekend, Phillip Island, another track that you like, and it should suit the Yamaha. Confident of another crack at the podium next weekend?
More difficult, because it's a track where you need to save the tyre, and with our lack of power, will be difficult. But you know, I think that is super important to take it race by race. And you know, the last 3 races we make 2 podiums, so I think we can be really happy with what we have, and hopefully it's giving a boost of energy to Yamaha to prepare something bigger.
Another fantastic job, Fabio. Congratulations. Well done on that 3rd place.
Thank you.
Impossible to say enough good things about how well Fabio Quartararo rode today to take 3rd place and be less than half a second off the race win. It was a 27-lap Grand Prix, but there's a 28th lap that the riders do, the warm-up lap. And Fabio Quartararo referred to it there, saying that a key part of his race was the warm-up lap, and he was making the rear spin a lot. What do you think he was alluding to there?
Yeah, good question. I can't be 100%, but my take on that is I've heard the riders over the weekend say the left side of the medium rear tyre, which they all ran, everyone that did a good result ran, and I believe he was getting heat in that left side, at least the left side, maybe both, so he can attack on those early laps to be in a good position, you know. You know what I'm saying? Go with them, don't lose anything. Rather than have to be careful on the left side. His ride was brilliant today, really, really good. I so enjoyed it, and I really can almost feel what it's done for him and the team, you know, because they've had a tough time, really tough. Mayo mentioned it in the pre-Parc Ferme interview, how it's a boost, and the thing for Fabio is he knows, and he's showing everyone that he's still a winner, you know, and he wasn't at all happy with 3rd when I interviewed him, because he knows he could win if he could overtake, and that is their weakness. So I hope, like he hopes, Yamaha can fix that weakness.
Yeah, even when Pecco Bagnaia and Maverick Vinales were battling for the lead, he was the best part of 3 seconds off the lead and caught them at such a vast rate of knots at the end. But only one rider to hear from now, your reigning world champion, and once again, your world championship leader. From 13th to the victory, Pecco Bagnaia with Matt Burt.
Pecco, I'm not really sure where we have to start covering off this weekend. 13th on the grid. You fight your way through to take the victory. You're back at the top of the MotoGP World Championship. It just feels like from the outside that was one of the most important wins of your career. Is that how it feels to you?
This win is I put this win as the same, maybe more, but similar level to the one in Malaysia last year. I gave everything to fight back from what happened yesterday. We did an incredible job, and I'm very proud of my team. And then in the race, I just tried to do the maximum possible in the overtakes at the start. And when I saw that I was third, I was just trying to catch back Maverick as soon as possible to fight with Jorge. That I was seeing that he was pushing a lot, very a lot, and for me the pace was really on the limit for the rear tire. So when I saw him crash, I just tried to control, because I was seeing that Maverick was starting struggling on the left side with the tire, and that was the key. I started to push again, 10 laps to go, and when I overtake him, it was incredible.
A great start from 13th. You had to make a really good start when you're on the 5th row of the grid. It was a rocky start as well from Jorge, from 6th to 1st, and he was immediately trying to make the break. I mean, how important was that start for you personally, Pecco, and just to get yourself in that lead group and avoid all the trouble at the first couple of corners?
The start every time is doing the 50% of the race. If you start well, you can do better things, absolutely. I was trying to be really focused on the start, and it was good. I started so well, and then in the first break I risked a bit. Also, when I tried to overtake Brad, when I saw that I was trying to lift a bit the brakes to overtake him, but as soon as I saw that he was doing the same, I said, he will not stop, he will not stop, he will not stop, and crash against Marini. But from that moment, I just doing the maximum. I've just done the maximum, and incredible.
And what was your feeling when you came through turn 11 and saw Jorge Martin in the gravel trap? Talk us through that moment.
My goal today was to win. All objective was to win. When I saw that I was third, my thing was that. And when I saw him crash, I just breathed a bit, because I was not needing to push like before. So I was more in control, and the rear tire was starting to dropping a bit, so it was very important to remain more constant.
And the celebration afterwards, we saw you sort of with your hand against your ear. Was that a special message for anybody? Just a reminder, because you have been under pressure. People have been saying, well, can Pecco Bagnaia handle the pressure of defending this World Championship? Was that some kind of special statement from you?
For me, it's just because sometimes people speak too much. It's better to wait a bit, and then after everything, speak. So it was for that reason.
And Phillip Island next weekend, you're back at the top of the World Championship. We know Australia and Thailand tracks that you do like. It's going to be very different conditions next weekend, but this win, Pecco, must just give you such a massive boost of energy for you and the team as well, going to Australia.
I think too. Yesterday, the last thing I did when I turned off my phone was to thinking that it was very important to do the maximum today, to do the maximum result possible, fighting for the win. We were needing it, we were deserving it, and it's a really great push for the rest of the races.
You showed again why you've got that #1 plate on that factory Ducati. Great job today, Pecco. Well done.
He certainly did. He certainly showed why the #1 belongs on his bike. And in a championship that's been dominated in recent times by Ducati, it is often tempting to point at the bike being the deciding factor. But that is a ride today that any world champion from any era will be proud to put on their CV from Pecco Bagnaia today. He pointed out himself that during the race, he could see the pace that Jorge Martin was going at and thought, that's a fast pace he's setting. Clearly too fast.
He obviously knows a lot better than I do, and I'm so glad he confirmed my thought, my guess, in that Jorge stepped into the zone where it might have been too much for Pecco's rear tyre, but Pecco was running the hard front. I think it was too much for Jorge's soft front tyre. That's my suspicion. And yeah, anyway, what a ride. I'm so pleased for him. I hope you believe me when I say I have no favourites. It's just this chess game that I saw today was brilliant to watch, and he pulled it off amazing. I went to his debrief last night, and everyone was looking at him with doubt, and he stood there with this calm, or sat there with this calm, like, you know, like he knew inside that it was still possible, and he proved it today.
In the middle of that chess match was Maverick Vinales, who finished in second place today. We will talk all about it in a moment. But first of all, let's hear from Batman, a.k.a. Maverick Vinales, with Matt.
Yes, today Maverick Vinales has been Batman. He's also been a very fast man as well. Maverick's so close to that first win for the Factory Aprilia team. You led so much of that race. It does feel like that first win is coming close, but just missing out today.
Well, we give the maximum with what we have. That's our objective. We know still we need to work a little bit. We start to get on the correct speed, but we know we have some issues with the tire life, especially here, not on in other tracks. So I think it's a matter of time. We need to keep working, putting a good weekend in a row, and it will come. It will come. I'm completely sure.
The Ducatis, we know they're so good starting. I mean, Jorge Martin, you on the front row. I mean, can you tell us about what your reaction was when you saw Jorge come flying by?
He just passed in another speed. It's amazing how they start, but we know why. They are much lower on the gravity center, so they can put much more power. But we cannot bring it now because we need to modify also the chassis, so it's going to arrive next year.
Maverick, you pushed Jorge very hard, and then it looked like you were encountering a few grip problems. He was 3 seconds clear when he crashed at turn 11. Could you see what happened? Pecco just told us that Jorge's was a very fast pace, but obviously a little bit too much.
I don't know. Maybe the soft tire wasn't enough strong to be on that rhythm. Maybe I could follow Jorge for 5-6 laps, but if I try it, my rear tire was gone. So I needed to slow down. This was not my pace. I knew the race was very long. We knew our objective. So I just keep concentrate on trying to don't hit the rear tire and make it last until the end.
It was a tough old race because you were trying to put the pressure on Pecco with that first win coming. You had your former teammate Fabio Quartararo right behind you as well. Was there a moment in that race, though, Maverick, where you thought you might have something for Pecco late on?
What I was trying in the last 10 laps was to don't hit the rear tire, but keeping Fabio behind, braking very late. So basically, I left everything for the last lap. Honestly, I did a really good last lap, 31.5, I think, one of my best laps. So I just was trying to be precise and get the correct right at the end of the race.
And tell us about the celebration. Batman on the podium. We loved it. The fans loved it.
That's a bet I had with one mechanic of Valeix. And they told me in Español is, maybe you need to cancel, but it's like, no tienes huevos a vestirte de Batman. But it looks like it's like, if you are afraid to go to the podium dressing like Batman, I say, no, of course, buy it, I do. And the background of this is that the symphony between all the team is fantastic.
Batman today, I'm sure. Superman very soon, Maverick.
I will try.
Great job. We'll look forward to seeing Phillip Island next weekend.
Thank you.
Proved a point today, didn't he? At least to one member of Aleix Espargaro's crew that he did have the stones to go up on the podium dressed as Batman. Second place for Maverick here today. When he reflects on this weekend, leading the sprint and falling back and leading the race and ultimately finishing second, will it be a weekend that he'll feel was a successful one, or what might have been?
I think you could tell from Maverick's interview that here comes Pecco now. You could tell from his interview that he is content. Overall, I think it's really sad for Aprilia, not what Maverick did. He had a great weekend. He really did well, but Aleix, Aleix.
He ran the soft rear tyre here today and faded badly. Yesterday,
his start blew his chances, and he was the fastest man here up until the sprint. He was the favourite, and then, the start, pretty much he admitted was his fault, and now in this race he chose himself the soft rear tyre, so it looks
Given his pace in practice, I was amazed he took that gamble.
I couldn't believe it. I spoke to Piero Taramasso and I went, he could not believe it. He just went, he said it's a mistake, and that is 2 mistakes Aleix made when he didn't capitalise. He had such an opportunity this weekend. This was almost another...
Argentina.
No, I was going to say Catalunya. He was the favourite, and he came away with nothing. He's going to be really sore. Aprilia are going to be very disappointed. Their only rescue was Maverick. Top job, Mav.
Well, the press conference will be coming shortly, so let's quickly rattle through some of the other stories from the race or riders to touch upon. First of all, Fabio Gianantonio, sensational. 4th for him today, a career best in MotoGP, proving that he's still got plenty to offer. But Marco Bezzecchi finished 5th today, and he said his personal best lap, 2 laps from the end, he overtook Brad Binder on the final lap to take 5th. Just the powers of not only performance but also ability to go through the pain barrier today, just underlining how superhuman he and all these riders are.
I just want to remind everyone that saw the Gear Up show coming into this weekend when...
At which point he wasn't in Lombok yet.
Everyone was saying, he wasn't even in Lombok, everyone was saying it's between, the fight is between 2. It's not, it's between 3. Bez is not out. He's well in there. There's lots of races left, and the young man is riding awesome, even with his collarbone. So he's in there. It's a battle between 3.
Yeah, he only lost 9 points to the World Championship leader this weekend in spite of the collarbone issues. So he'll consider that a major save this weekend. And finally, Brad Binder, who finished in 6th place today, served 2 long lap penalties during the race. Can he have any argument with either of them?
In my opinion, no. And I don't think Brad will. He's a tough cookie. He will just see it honestly, how it is, and take it. Brad's on the edge regularly, in those early laps, and he has to be to achieve what he does in the early laps. But today they were, the first one I have to
with Luca Marini.
Stick up for him a little bit with Luca Marini, because I know what it's like. You dive out to pass someone and you have to brake a little bit later than them, so you have to pay that back in the middle of the corner. And when he arrived to the middle of the corner, there's someone else stopped there because they braked earlier, the person in front, and you just get caught out. And I feel sorry for him, but that's what happened, and it's his doing. But the second one, it was his doing. So again, so I don't think he'll argue at all. He's, like I said, a straight-up guy. He'll take it on the chin.
Second one was contact with Miguel Oliveira, who fell back down the field. He also started on that soft rear tyre. It didn't work out for any of those riders who went that route.
Brad had to ride from that Miguel contact for the rest of the race with no left front wing, and the bike handle's pretty bad, so he'd have been struggling with the Bez fight.
Still finished in 6th, 2 long lap penalties and a damaged motorcycle, but he did finish 6th in the end. As you can see on the right hand side of your screens, the top 3 are getting ready to speak to the world's media in the press conference. If you're watching us live, stay where you are, because that is coming up next. If not, we will see you in a week's time in Phillip Island with Gear Up on Thursday, and of course all of the action throughout Friday, the sprint on Saturday, and that is one sprint I've been looking forward to since the format was announced. The Phillip Island sprint is going to be spectacular, and then the Grand Prix itself on the Sunday. We will see you in Australia, and what twist will await us next in this MotoGP Championship battle. See you in Australia.